We offer newspaper and magazine kits with or without desiccants. You can get a hygrometer to monitor humidity levels in your home, and if your home has high relative humidity, higher than 55%, you would want a kit with a desiccant. If your house is climate controlled and humidity is not a problem, get the kit that doesn't have a desiccant. So this is going to be the metal desiccant. It's going to come in, they're both going to come in a wrapper, obviously. And this is what the metal desiccant looks like. And this is the fabric cloth one. Okay, so we're just going to take a look at the kit without the desiccant and what you get. Both of these kits are pretty much the same. The only thing is the desiccant, you get a desiccant with it of your choosing. And also the ones that are packaged with desiccants only come in the tan box. So if you want a gray box and a desiccant, just order your desiccant separately. All of our kits come with a label holder. So this is cardstock that you can write your label onto and slip it in. And the boxes have an imprint to help you line it up and center it. Okay, so it comes with the label and the box, of course, a 3.5-inch drop front box. Okay, so the drop front style means that one edge of the box is not attached with metal edges so that you can get things in and out easily. It will also come with a package of 10 polyethylene bags. Up in my attic, which is not a good place to store things that you care about because usually they're unheated, which mine is unheated, so it gets very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter and humid. There's no humidity control. So it's very bad, which is probably why all of these are very yellowed. And this particular box, I believe I got at IKEA, and it is not an Archival box. And I don't know if you can actually see here, but there is definitely some yellow staining on the inside, which is probably from the newsprint. Okay, the first thing you want to do is measure your newspapers. This one is 12 inches by 10, so it will fit into an 11-14 box. This one is just shy of 11 and under 13. These two are quite a bit larger. This one's it's a little over 11 and a half. And it's just under 15. But the boxes are a little larger. Especially the 11-14. I think it's closer to 11-15. And as you can see, these two actually fit in the box. The only thing is, the bags that come with this kit probably are not big enough for these two, but you could just skip the bags on those. Depends on what your budget is, or you could buy a 10-pack of a slightly larger size bag for these two. And then we have these outliers. So they're still Arthur magazine, but they were a different format. So unfortunately, they were a lot larger, and they are not going to fit into the 11-14 box. What size are they? And as you can see, folding them has not been kind to them. It's much better to store these things unfolded. It's 16.5 by 11. So 11 by 17 box would work. We do not have an 11 by 17 newspaper kit. The kit sizes we have are 9 by 12, 11 by 14, 14 by 18, 16 by 20, and 20 by 24. But you can make your own kit. I could buy an 11 by 17 3-inch deep drop front and then a pack of bags. And you could all put these all into that larger box. There's a couple options, of course. So you could do that. Just get a bigger box and the bags, buy them separately. You could buy this kit and you could store these folded in the box. And the last option would be to buy the 11-14 kit And then buy a 1.5 inch deep box for these two. So if you only have a few papers you need to store, you can also just buy a 1.5 inch deep drop front box. So, and that goes for any size. So you're going to put your newspaper into the poly bag. And you can see it just has a flap, and all you have to do is fold it over, place the largest piece on the bottom, and then just go up in size from largest to smallest. I don't know if this one's going to fit. So that first one I put in the box is from 1981. It's pretty yellowed. This one is from 2004, also very yellowed. This one is 2009 and actually in pretty good shape. We recommend not wearing gloves when you're handling paper items like books and newsprint, because the gloves might actually do more harm than good if they snag on delicate paper. So just make sure you have clean, dry hands and don't have any oil like lotions on your hands when you're going to be working on your archive. Some people might wonder why they should use one of these kits. Well, you should store newsprint out of direct sunlight and in a climate-controlled environment, because there's a lot of lignin left in cheap newsprint because it's cheap to make. And lignin is why newspaper becomes yellow and brittle so quickly, because it breaks down, especially when exposed to light and temperature highs and high humidity. So there's that. But then why the special box? That's because these boxes are buffered with calcium carbonate, and adding buffering to a box or paper is going to help fight or scavenge acids. You could, if you wanted, if you had a very delicate paper, add a piece of cardstock to the bag with your thing to give it a little bit more support. And we mentioned that folds are not great for papers. They really weaken along fold lines, so whenever possible, you should store your newspapers unfolded. But for this demo, we are just going to put them in the box, folded. So yeah, one magazine or newspaper can go into each bag. It just gives them a little bit added protection. And then once you're done, don't overfill your box. You don't want to cram them all in there. Then you would just label the outside of your box with your label and put it on a shelf in your living space. Like a closet is a great choice if you have a closet shelf to use. This is the 20 by 24 newspaper and magazine storage kit, our largest one, and it will hold most modern broadsheets unfolded. So again, of course, it's 3.5 inches deep, has the drop front edge, and this is a copy of the Detroit News from July 21st, 1969. I only have one newspaper in this box because that's all I have, but of course you could put multiple papers in. And this is a very good example of the damage on folds. It's just crumbling along that fold line. It's probably been sitting on a shelf, folded twice, as you can see, like this, in a basement. So exposed to light and temperature fluctuations. So it's sustained the most damage in those areas. So to minimize future damage, we'll put it in the bag in the archival box and find a safe space for it. This is an unusual one. It's a 2-inch drop front box. Most of our drop front boxes are 3 inches deep or 1.5 inch deep, but this one is 2 inches deep, and it is 22.5 by 28.5 by 2 inches. And I want to point out that certain metal edged boxes are going to have bowing on the lid, and that is totally normal, and it does not affect the archival quality, and in fact it's still protecting the contents from dust. It's just sometimes we have people that are unhappy with that, so we try and make it clear before people buy something what they're getting into. And this is the largest metal edge box that we carry, and it's 1.5 inch deep. It's not a drop front. It's under the full top boxes, and it is 24.25 by 32.5 by 1.5 inches. So if you end up having a broadsheet that needs a box this big, you would just buy it, and then if you wanted bags, you might have to buy crystal clear bags, because the poly bags do not go up this big unless you get a really, really big ones, which come on a roll. And so again, you can see there's still that bowing on the box. And then as far as larger boxes, if you need something larger than this, you'd have to look in the portfolios and cases section of our website. I think the largest we have might be a museum cylinder case, is a 30 by 40. Anyway, you'll find some oversized boxes there, but they're going to be more expensive than the metal edge.